Hey everybody, welcome to Hong Kong Lacrosse Virtual Lax Convention 2021. We're out here at KG5 and today we're going to do a little bit of work on some goaltending and basic goaltending stuff. So here I have with me, I'm excited to have Marco Fung. Marco is one of the men's representative team goaltenders. He's done a lot of goaltending for Hong Kong in the past. Just recently in our sixes tournament, he won the most valuable player, making 2 incredible saves in overtime. To save his team, and they went on to win the championship. So it was great. Welcome, Marco.
Let's go. Thanks for having me.
Right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take you back here, and we're going to set up with the goaltender, and Marco's going to walk through some stuff. Okay. Okay, Marco. So here we are. We've got Jansen with us. He's gonna help us go through all the stuff. So when we start working with a new goaltender, what are the things that you talk about first? In other words, let's go through the stance, because I think that's the foundation, right, of the goaltender.
Yeah, sure. For the stance, we want to be very explosive and also be very relaxed when we are trying to save the ball or reacting to the ball. So I'm going to have Jansen here to help me to demonstrate what good stance I think it is. So we start with our hands. Our hands should be, so our top hand should be touching the plastic or maybe a little bit lower. It's just about preference, right? It just depends on whether you like your hands closer to the head or lower to the head. So for the bottom hand, it should be around 12 to 13 inches apart. So you can check it with your elbow. Usually I check it with my elbow or use my hip. So place your bottom hand or your top hand like a hip apart or something. So when I'm trying to put my top hand at the level of my shoulder, because you don't want to put it too high. If you're too high, then it's very hard for you to go for the low shot, and also it is very tiring for you to hold this position for the whole game. If you are putting it too low, then it is also very hard for you to explode for the shot up top. So it's a bit switch to the side. So we don't want to. Our hands shouldn't be tucked in too much, because when you are trying to make a save, maybe sometimes you may hit your helmet. If you are trying to extend your elbow, then it's very hard for you to rotate or also to be explosive. So your hands, your arms should be in a very relaxed state, and to be ready to explode at any second. So we just talk about our hands, and then we talk about our feet. So we usually just imagine you are trying to run or trying to jump, then you place your feet about shoulder width or maybe further. So you want to be athletic as possible, then you should try. Just imagine you're trying to do a jump, and then you're trying to bend your knees and be athletic. So we try to Jansen here, and then you see his feet are a little bit wider than his shoulder, and he just bent his knee to be explosive. And you don't want to drop too low, because if you drop too low, then you are very hard to explode for the ball up top. That's it for the stance.
Wow, that's great stuff, Marco. So now that we've got him in a good stance, how do we position him in the net, depending on where the ball is on the field? Let's talk about that for a bit.
Yeah, okay. So at any moment, you should try to put yourself in the center of the net, so to cover as much as possible. For example, if the ball is at the camera, and then you should be at the center of the net so that you can go right, you can go left, you can go down. If Jansen stand here, and then you can see this side is wide open, so it's very hard for him to make a save on this side. So you try to position yourself in the center. What I try to do is I use my chest as a mark to face. I always remind myself to use my chest to face the shooter or face the ball. So wherever ball is passing or carrying or something, and I use my chest as a mark to point it to the shooter or to the ball. So there may be different art play for you to stand in front of the goal. Sometimes we call a 5-point arc. Yeah, yes, I can demonstrate a 5-point arc. Depends on whether the ball is, and then you try to be square to the ball. Some people prefer a 3-point arc. 3-point arc is more, I think it's not my preferred style. And what I try to do is I'm kind of a hybrid of these two art play, because I just don't want to like set a fixed position for me, because as I said, I try to be square to the ball every time. So I use some little step for me to adjust before, like in between the 5 points or in between the 3 points. So just to make sure you are square to the ball, and that's fine.
Oh, that's a great stuff again. Right now we've got him in a good stance, and we've got him positioned in the net. But the ball isn't always shot in the same area of the net, right? So what are the different saves that you have to make, and how does the body move based on where the ball is shot?
Yeah, okay.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah. Talking about saves, the first thing we need to be reminded ourselves is to get set before the save. Yeah, because our power, all the powers come from our legs. So you need to be ready to be explode when you are about to see a shot. So your legs should be steady and ready to explode. So there are 6 saves for you to make in general. So for example, if the ball is shooting to the stick side high, your right hand should be aiming for the ball, like trying to catch the ball with your right hand or your top hand. Your left hand should be supporting your right hand to generate power from your left hand and push everything to the ball. So imagine a shot is going to the top, the stick side high for Jensen, and Jensen will use his right hand to catch the ball and also use his left hand to move his legs as well. So for example, in other cases, if the ball is shooting on this side, Jensen needs to use his right hand to catch the ball and also use his left hand to punch this side so that his leg is moving faster. So you can try. Yeah, and also for every save, we try to catch the ball in front of ourselves, because when we're trying to, if the save is in front of ourselves, then we can see the ball all the time. If the save is next to ourselves, then we cannot see whether the ball is really in the pocket or not. So we need to be reminded ourselves to catch the ball in front of ourselves. And it also helps us to be explosive. Since you are trying to catch the ball, you remind yourself to save it in front of you, and your body will move naturally. So yeah, for here, the top hand, once again, your top hand should try to catch the ball, and your left hand will drive the stick to the position. For off stick hip, I try to move my left hand first, because as I said, your left hand should be your power. Your right hand should be like a steering wheel or something to catch the ball. So for me, I try to use my left hand to drive my body to this side and then catch it with my right hand. When you are trying to, some goalies are taught to like do a circle to this side. The bad thing about it is that you can see whether the head travels. It's like a circle, so the distance between here and here is longer than you just move it to here. So what I try to do is to use my left hand to drive to this side and then catch it with my right hand. If you do so, then your body, because you're driving to the left side, right? If you drive hard to your left side, your body needs to follow. And also, like, generate power for your body to go to the left side, so that you may save the ball with your body. For the low shot, we try to save it in front of body because even though we miss it, then our body can also block it. So you can see Jensen here. It is too explosive. So Jensen here at freeze. You can see his stick is his butt end is pointing to the front, so that when the ball hits the net, it will not bounce it up or bounce it to somewhere else, so that Jensen can grab the ball and then do the outlet. Yeah. And also for every save, you try to catch it with your right hand and then generate power from your left hand as well. Yeah, I think that's for the 6 saves.
Okay. Well, Marco, that's awesome stuff. I mean, I think that goes through everything from the stance of the goaltender to the positioning in the net, and then all of the steps and the hand movements that he needs to make a save. And I think that is really what a starting goaltender needs to focus on, is all those little things. But how can they, if they're just starting out, what are some drills that they could do at home to get themselves ready to become an elite goaltender?
Okay. So the first drill is, I think, is at home. You can do it at home, is to train your hand-eye coordination and also not afraid the lacrosse ball. So what I did in the past is I wear a helmet and then I use a lacrosse ball and then just keep bouncing to the ground. When you throw it hard, and then it like bounce it back to you, and the speed is very fast. But you got a helmet to protect yourself, so you don't need to be afraid to get hit. But also you can visualize the speed of the shot. So you may use it as use a lacrosse ball or tennis ball or something, and also you try to catch it every time. So once you master some catches, and you try to bend your body lower to the ground, or you throw it harder, and then try to minimize or shorten the time for you to react. And the second drill for you to do it at home is you can place 2 lacrosse ball on the ground. So for example, maybe one lacrosse ball is right here, one is right here, and then this drill is to try to move your feet. So you place 2 lacrosse balls in front of you, and then use your leg to kick the ball. Just use right leg and then left leg. Do it a couple of times to try to warm your feet up and also make your feet faster. And then I will try to put the ball further, and then you can kick. You can treat it as a warm up or trying to train your feet.
Yeah.
Something. And the third thing I think is very simple drill is to do drag goalie at home. You may try to use 1 ball at a time, and like 1 ball on your right hand, 1 ball on your left hand, and then you start with 2 balls or 1 hand 2 balls, and then eventually 3 balls or 4 balls. The first time will be very difficult, but once you master it, you can find it very helpful for you to develop your hand speed and also hand-eye coordination, and also the rhythm of it. And also for the rhythm, you also, like when you're trying to save the ball and you're trying to get set before the shooter shoots, so there is a tricky rhythm of it. So you try to get used to some rhythm, and then you can build your momentum in the game.
Hey, this is all great stuff. This is really, really good stuff. I want to thank you so much for this. I know there's one more drill that I learned when I was a young guy, and it was called walk the line. So we would take a line on the field, or you could do it down the sidewalk. You could do it at home, even in your bedroom in front of a mirror, and you just go through and make those 6 different saves. So you get into your good set position, and then you visualize a ball coming at you, and then you visualize yourself making that save. And that was one that I think a lot of goaltenders grow up doing. And I know coaches, a lot of guys do that before practice. They have their goalies walk the line for a bit. So listen, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And we'll see you on the field.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks, guys.
Wow, another really informative session, this time with Marco Fung, one of the MRT goaltenders. He really was able to get through a lot of stuff in a really short amount of time. And I think it really lays out everything that a beginning goalie really needs to know, and even gives them some ideas on how to practice on their own. So I really want to thank him for doing that. It was fantastic to get him out of KG5. Even though there was a women's game going on in the background and there was lots of background noise, he was able to focus like any good goaltender. Jansen also did a great job focusing on what he needed to get done. So I really want to thank these guys, and we have a lot more content coming during this Lax convention, so everybody stay tuned.